My name is Jackie Vincent, Chief Moderator for our T-Level provision, and today I'm joined by Kelly Graham, our EQA Continuous Improvement Lead. This demonstration will support you with completing the schedule of assessment.
So, Jackie, what is the schedule of assessment?
So if you're delivering the T-Level in education and childcare, you will need to submit a schedule of assessment for all learners registered and booked onto the Early Years Educator and the Assisting Teaching Occupational Specialisms. The schedule of assessment provides the moderator with information on planned assessment dates for each learner for the completion of assignment 2, and this is so they can plan their visits. The moderator will view the schedule of assessment and select learners to sample based on NCFE's moderation sampling strategy. They will also work with you to schedule visits as efficiently as possible to reduce the number of visits where possible and applying a supportive approach to the moderation process. It is important to remember that you will not be able to upload a schedule of assessment for learners who are not registered onto an occupational specialism.
So how do I access the schedule of assessment?
So to access the schedule of assessment, first log into the portal as you normally would using your username and password. You will see that there's a tab named Moderation. Click on this tab to select the schedule of assessment, and once in the schedule of assessment screen, you can search for your learners by batch number, forename, surname or ULN.
So how do I add a new learner?
So to add a new entry to the schedule of assessment, search for the learner that you wish to add a schedule of assessment for. And for the purposes of this demo, we'll search for a learner with the surname Dante06. Add the learner's surname to the surname search field and select Search. If the learner, Gabriella Dante, is registered to an occupational specialism, they will be displayed in the schedule of assessment. You can see in this instance that Gabriella Dante, 06, is registered to the Occupational Specialism Early Years Educator. To add a schedule of assessment for Gabriella, select the learner by ticking the box to the left of the batch number field and select Add Schedule of Assessment. Using the drop-down arrow to the right of the screen, add the industry placement details for Gabriella, her rank order, and details of the assignment 2 assessments. It is important that the placement details are correct and up to date, as this is the address the moderator will arrive at to observe the learner. The rank order is the number you allocate to your learners based on a number of information, e.g., achievement in the core component, predicted grade in the occupational specialism, performance in relevant qualifications at Key Stage 4. And learners ranked 1 are your strongest learners. Learners can be ranked at the same number, however, this is limited to 5 learners at the same rank. When adding an observation, date and time, it's important that you also add the criteria you plan to observe during the assessment so that the moderator can select their sampling plan accordingly. So to select multiple criteria, hold down the control key and select the criteria you require. As Gabriella is registered to the Early Years Educator Specialism, there is also a requirement for you to select the competence-based criteria that you plan to observe during the assessment date and time. So as observations are completed holistically, for the first observation assessments, we will take a holistic consideration and then plan to observe specific criteria accordingly. Therefore, you may wish to include all criteria for the initial observation planned. For learners registered to assist in teaching, their schedule of assessment will only show the structured observation option as there is no part 1 for the assisting teaching assignment. You can add multiple observation dates and times. It's important that you add this information as early as possible. Don't worry if dates and times change, you can edit the schedule of assessment. And once you've added all of the information, you will need to tick the declaration to confirm that the dates, times and criteria are planned to be observed has been agreed with the learner and industry placement. Submission of the declaration also confirms that all industry placements listed in the schedule of assessment have confirmed that assessors and moderators, where required, can attend the assessment for the purpose of assessment and or moderation, and permission forms must be made available to the moderator on request. You will also confirm that you understand that the schedule of assessment must be continually updated and when planned observations change, so that moderators always have the most accurate current information and can plan their visits accordingly. Where a date changes and the moderator has already confirmed that they will attend the assessment, it is the responsibility of the provider to inform the moderator by email so that a new date can be agreed.
Oh, thank you. So how do I edit a schedule of assessment?
So once you've completed a schedule of assessment for a learner, you can edit this information. So to do this, search for the learner. Again, for the purposes of this demo, we'll use Dante 06. So select the learner by clicking the box to the left of the batch number field and select Update Schedule of Assessment. You can update any information on this screen, for example, the address of the industry placement, the learner's rank order, the date and time of the observation, and the criteria that you plan to observe. And once you've updated the information, you'll be asked to confirm the declaration again.
Thank you. So when do I need to complete the schedule of assessment?
So we recommend you complete the schedule of assessment for all learners as soon as possible. And this is so that your moderator can plan their visits. By providing this information early, the moderator can carry out their observations in a timely manner, reducing the likelihood of missed opportunities for observations and moderation.
And what qualifications do I need to submit this for?
So if you're delivering the T-level technical qualification in education and childcare, you will need to submit a schedule of assessment for all learners registered to the Early Years Educator or the Assisting Teaching Occupational Specialisms.
And sorry, can you remind me, what sections do I need to complete?
So all sections of the schedule of assessment must be completed in full, and that includes details of the industry placement, including the postcode, the learner's rank order, dates and times that you plan to observe the learner for assignment 2, and the criteria or the structured observation that you plan to observe.
Okay, so do I need to notify my moderator if I make any changes to the schedule of assessment?
No, your moderator will have access to the most updated version of the schedule of assessment in order to plan their visits. However, if you have already been notified of a planned visit by the moderator and you do make changes after that notification, then you will need to inform your moderator, and this is vitally important because failure to do so may result in the moderator turning up unnecessarily or a requirement for extra visits as they've not been able to be planned effectively. And remember, your moderator may need to be travelling a long way.
So if I'm in the schedule of assessment and I can't find my learner, why would this be?
So learners, remember, they will only show in the schedule of assessment once they've been registered onto the T-level qualification and then also booked onto their chosen occupational specialism. So early years educator or assisting teaching. If a learner is not showing, please do check that they have been registered and booked onto the specific occupational specialism.
Oh, thank you, Jackie. That was very useful.